Here, I thought I would unmute when that song stopped. Hello, everyone. Heath, Artie, Cameron, Ethan. I don't know who else is in here. We'll see there. I'm just going to be cleaning up on my layout. I've got 3 operations sessions this weekend. So I have to restage it, and I have to clean it up, and I have to fix one set of magnets. I'm 3/4 of the way there. Bernard, hello. So you guys can come along and watch me clean. Exciting how that is, and move around and chat and ask me some questions as you go. And we'll see there. You can see the mess at Agate Bay. Got scenery supplies all over. I was working on my backdrop. Put everything away. How are you guys doing? What's going on with your layouts? One of my blue tubs of scenery here. Anybody want some scenery materials, let me know. Oh, that away. Now, I know, Heath, you said you've never been to an operations session. I wonder if anyone else has. Kyle's been to one. Stream flood. What is a stream flood? Freight and passenger. Oh, I imagine. So Chris is here. Chris, why do you want an ethanol plant? I thought you were building a steel mill. There we go. Well, where'd you go? Which layout did you go to? See what happens when a Rapido caboose hits the floor? my number one took a dive. One of the first cars to hit the floor in a while. Yeah, the ore cars are all moved because I've been working on magnets and things. So that's what I'm doing today. Daryl's here. Everybody's shocking away. Just roll with it. Just roll with it. Oh, the old maple syrup joke. Watching live train show. Yeah, maybe. I get work done while I watch you guys. And so while I'm cleaning, does anybody want to come up and chat? You guys can hold the conversation while I vacuum and move all these ore cars back where they should be. Well, Frisco layout. Okay. All righty. Post the link in there and see if I get a couple volunteers to run the chat or do something while I vacuum. Work done. Okay. Yeah, I always work on models. It's always down in the scrapyard sale. That's not good. That's not good. Heath has to go walk the track inspector. Show you guys around here a bit. So all that backdrop is new. Paint is new. And all the 3D scenery is new. These are just chunks of florist foam. And I put static grass on there. And some ground foam, some knock leaves, and then I put my bushes. Have yet to add the trees. These are all just super trees that I glued to a Woodland Cynics pin. and then they just stick right into the florist foam. Carve that up. Eventually, I'll blend it in, and then add a few more trees back there. And it kind of finishes off that scene. Back here, the engine facility, yard. You can see the caboose tracks. As you walk into the layout, well, that's what you see. Lower level agate bay and upper level here. Gotta make a better track diagram. 2 arrival tracks. Those 2, then I got 4 tracks for the ore and then 1 for the runaround. So the iron ore will come in here, uncouple, we'll go back, come over here, grab empties, head back to the mines. The empties come in here, cut off, run around, and then they'll grab 2 tracks and head back. But, that's what I've been working on, and that's why I need the vacuum. Vermilion powder. Burlington route. Well, that sounds nice. What part of the Burlington did he model? What era was he modeling? The 60s? The E units? You see, Rapido just announced that Burlington modelers will be having their wallets lightened. They're finally releasing the correct commuter cars. Was the diesel era. All right, I'm gonna mute for a second so I don't blast you out with my shop vac. Feel free to talk amongst yourselves. Yes, I can still see chat, which is always good. Nothing ruins an obsession like scenery. if you don't have $500 worth of scenery supplies inside your shop vac, I don't think you're a model railroader. So, see if I can get these going here. Oh my God, they're short up. There he is. How you doing, Artie?
Good, bud, yourself?
Doing good.
How are you guys? How you doing? I was just thinking the other day when I was up at the roundhouse on the weekend. A couple of those alcos will look really good on your layout. Band up. Thanks, Daryl. Yeah, I've got myself spruced up a little bit. Yeah, it's good to get a bit of a clean up once in a while. Hey, I'm not in public. I'm at home. I'm not in public yet. I was out in the public on the weekend. And boy, I tell you what, that was a great day out. The organiser's saying he's organising another one in about 2 years. If that's the case, I'm thinking about organising a group trip for the folks from the US to come out. There's a group booking. I think they'll make a really good event. Yeah, that's back at that idea, right? I'm trying to pack my crane away, but of course it doesn't fit in the box, does it? I've got to make up another box for it. Yeah.
Artie's kind of quiet.
Am I?
Saying you're kind of quiet.
Yeah, I'm trying to work the chat and trying to work here as well. Is my voice coming through low or what?
Oh, now you're fine. What's next weekend?
I don't know yet. It all depends on what the weather's going to do because we're about to get smashed again with some more rain. So I don't know. It's all up in the air at the moment. If not, I'll be doing something from home. G'day, moderator. Yeah, I don't know. I might end up doing some things from here at home. Thanks, Trackside Mike. Yeah, I do look 5 years younger. Yeah, it's good. It's good to get a bit of a clean up once in a while.
Timonium. All right.
Next weekend, yeah, I'm not making it over. Definitely not.
Is there a big meetup there? Is that what everybody's going to meet? They're going to meet Ray? Isn't Ray Bobel putting on something?
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. So Actually, that's this coming weekend. That's this coming weekend. Let's have a look. Yes, that's this coming weekend. So what I'm going to do, because I know he was talking about doing some live shots and that from there. I'm not going to have a long stream on that night. I'll still have to talk to Ray. Because it is a big event, so I'll just talk that with him. So my show will be pretty brief this week. I'll just do it from home. But the following weekend, I'm going to go up to Thilmere Railway Museum, which is just out west of me, about an hour's drive. And I'll do a stream from there. Because they got a lot of old stuff up there. Even the first diesel, the first steam engine that we had in this state, right to the first electric passenger trains. And I don't know if any of you guys seen the prison man that was in the Golden Rand house. There is another one up Thilmere where we can actually go inside and have a look. G'day, Robert. How are you? Yeah. No, it's a good day out actually. Just not looking at that. I'm just packing up my trains, so to speak, because I'm ripping the turntable out, but I'm about to expand the layout. So I don't want any rolling stock on the track on the layout while I'm constructing. You know what it's like. Things don't bounce too well. Plastic doesn't bounce very well.
So you're gonna do your Saturday from your house then?
Yeah, this weekend. Yeah. I'll do it from my house this weekend. The following week, I'll go out somewhere. By then, the weather's going to clear up. Yeah, it's just been wild. I mean, even last Thursday, Friday here, I think the Mother Nature went out of sympathy out here for the people in Florida. We were where I am. We were getting flooded out. It was really heavy rain down here. Yeah. Does anyone know Heath? No, I never heard of Heath. Who's Heath? He's some new guy on the block, I think. So, I gather you're an Alco fan there, Thomas.
Yes, in model form.
In model form?
Yeah. No, they're kind of cool. I mean, they're like dinosaurs.
Yeah. I did pick out one thing though with the Alcos. If some of you guys look at part 2, I actually did go for a train ride after my original theme. But the big brown Alco, the one that I showed you, that's my favourite one, they had one of them pulling the train, and just the exhaust out of that was completely different than the 48, the smaller one that we had in our system. But yeah, chuffs along like a steam engine, eh? You can't beat the sound off one. I need to find a box for my crate. Oh, that's not my tip. Oh, good night, Heath. take care of yourself, bud. Don't overdo yourself. Yeah, might finish this box here. So do you get many people come around and do operation sessions at your place, Thomas?
What's that, Artie?
Do you get many people at your place to do operations on your layout?
I stepped away. Do I need how many operators? Is that what you're saying?
No. Do you have many operators that come to your
Oh,
place?
yeah. Right. I've got a pool of probably 80 people.
Oh.
So I have 3 over at a time. And I'm on vacation, so I'm having a session Thursday and 2 on Saturday, all with different people.
Well, that sounds good.
Yeah, our NMRA division is hosting a special operations weekend for people who've never operated or new or experienced operators that want to meet more layout owners. So we put that on this Saturday.
Yeah.
We're having a social Friday night, and then Saturday they'll go to 2 sessions, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. So we've got about 25, 30 people. We got 5 layouts. So you get to operate on 2 different layouts.
Oh, that's good. I try to get on with some guys. I try to get on with some of the guys here in Australia when I was with the Australian branch, but everyone was just so far away from where I was.
Yeah. We have an abundance of layouts here. There's 30 layouts in our circuit. There's 30 layouts that host operations within probably a half-hour drive.
Yeah.
But that's, we live in the Midwest. Everyone's got a basement, But we also host, we host every other year. We host a session for the operations SIG called MinRail, and there'll be like 80 to 100 people will come into town from all over the country and all over the world. I think I had 2 Australians last time at my layout, but they come and they operate Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday morning, Saturday night, and then Sunday morning. So they hit 4 or 5 layouts. It's just a whole weekend of that.
Yeah.
That's all they do. And then the town south of us, La Crosse, Wisconsin, they host it every other year, and they've got just as many layouts. So.
Yeah, I don't have anyone around my area, but to go up to the ones that the nearest people that do the regular operation runs is anywhere between 4 to 6 hours drive from here. The old club they used to be a member of in Sydney, they used to do it until the old members passed on, and ever since they passed on, there hasn't been an operation session. And we ran on a timetable, an old timetable, and one person will do passenger, one person will do freight, and we had one, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 operators and 1 CTC operator. And that was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. I found it really enjoying.
Yeah, it's a good social. So Sparky, yeah, good question. You do not. This operations weekend, we opened it up to everybody. We did give NMRA members first choice. You know, we really didn't have to tell anyone no. We didn't have anyone extra work because we had a lot of people drop out for last minute things. But for things like this, no, we're trying to entice people into the NMRA. And besides, you can go to 3 NMRA events before they persecute you for membership, and that's only just for the insurance. You know, we just can't have people showing up all the time. So it's not a pressure thing. But no, you don't have to be an NMRA thing, but it's a nice thing that our division does. And if you're interested, we're always there to show you what you can do. But we don't pursue that. We're just trying to make our little group of the NMRA seem more welcoming. You know,
I wish they were a bit more like that here in Sydney. In Sydney based.
Yeah.
I wish they were more welcoming here. Melbourne's a lot better. They're more welcoming in Melbourne, which is in the other state. They're a bit more welcoming. But Sydney and even Brisbane up the far north of the state, they seem to be a group of their own.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, that's the thing we're trying to do, because I've had people send me emails and say, hey, I saw you at such and such a show, but I didn't want to talk to you because you were with your friends, and they think I have a clique. And I'm like, come on over and talk to me. So if you're an experienced operator, you know, pretty much everyone here, we also open it up. If you don't know these layout owners, you know, this is a good way to get to know a layout owner and get invited to their sessions. And if you're a good guest, we don't care how you operate. We just want good guests. We want friendly people with social skills. And if you're a good operator, most of the other operators around are also layout owners, and then they'll start inviting you, and that's how you get in these circles. So
I'll bring my own beer and chips and popcorn.
You're allowed, yeah. Well, we're very social. Friday night we're having a social, and then we'll assign the layouts. We're getting together at a local coffee shop. It's actually an old railroad depot. And when they get there, then they'll assign the layouts, and then we'll have a breakout with the people you're going to operate with, and you can do stuff. So, yeah, 30 people. We have 2 layouts locally that can take over 30 operators, but it's a zoo. I don't know. It's an absolute zoo.
That gets a bit too much, I think.
Yeah, it's too much.
Yeah. But yeah, because I'd get a bit scared too. It does seem to be a bit overwhelming at the time. Yeah.
So we got 6 layouts, and we have 3 of them that take 5 operators each. They actually take a few more. But the people that own the layouts have some of their regular crew are going to man or woman the critical spots, you know, like the yard master or dispatcher or something, so everybody else can have fun. Because if you put a person who's new to a layout in charge of the yard, the whole thing goes downhill, and we want people to have fun. And then we have 3 layouts that'll take 3 people each. And so the 3 people are all just rotating around, and the groups of 5 will rotate around. So it's quite nice.
We had the biggest layout that I had in the club, the layout that I worked on in the club. That was an interesting one. We had 2 branch lines. One was called Wits End, and the other one was they called it Plato. Both were branch lines, and they had 1 operator on it. So you had to do the switching for the passenger train. You had to switch the engine around to the other side, put a turntable, spin the engine around, and send it back down. Wits End, Plato was in the main train room. Saying what? Yeah, you got my train room or your train room. That's the main layout. was there as well, so you can hear what's going on. And sometimes we had a fun operations. We still do an operation, but we had a fun time running the trains. But as soon as it got congested, which end was in another room. It was a single line. So when you're in that other room, you can't hear what's going on. You can't hear the congestion. So the CTC operator or someone says this train's going to Wits End. And you can get overwhelmed with trains. You need to switch around, turn around, and send it back down. But everyone just keeps sending the trains up in there. And that was a lot of fun operations.
Yeah. Well, I think what you just said is you had a branch line and you did it all. And so there's a lot of good jobs like that where if you're new, you know you're not going to be in anyone's way, right? I mean,
yeah.
If it's a branch line, you own it. You can just go in there and switch. The Empire Builder's not going by. The hot double stacks.
Yeah.
Not, you don't got to get in the way. So you can make all the mistakes you want, and you're not taking anyone else operating there's fun. And I think that's, I've seen a lot of the layouts on YouTube have little areas like that, little switching districts or this, where you could go in there and switch and you'd be out of the way of, the main line trains. Because that's intimidating to a new person. That's, kind of unfair. So, if someone's new, we kind of tend to push them towards those jobs. Take this. You're not in anyone's way. You can't do anything wrong. So, yeah. So what Sparky's saying and others is, how do you approach someone? How do you say, hi, I'm a modeler. I saw you have a layout. Are you open to tours or operations or something? It's really hard. I mean, it's difficult for me sometimes.
Yeah. So if next time I come to the US, it's worth me to bring some of my strange stock. Do you allow other people to bring their own stuff along as well? Promise?
Yeah. But I like the idea of your club having these branch lines because a lot of people want them. A lot of people want those jobs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I like Plato. I didn't like going Wits End, but Wits End was the last. You can say it was the last free operating table section that was available at the time. But it used to be fun because they cannot see what kind of train you're making up to send back down the line. So when they used to give you a hard time, you can always give them the hard time.
Yeah.
They don't know how long your train is until it comes out the tunnel.
Yeah, you can set that up. And a lot of people just want to run the through trains. They don't, it's like, okay, staging yard to staging yard, you'll run the passenger and then the double stack and the coal train. And because that needs to be run as well. And if it's a freight train, run into the yard, drop off these cars, pick up those cars, call the dispatcher and keep moving. And that's operations as well, too. There's no difference.
Well, that's right. Every train is an operation sequence. A sequence of operations. Yeah.
We have but you don't need a huge layout for it. We have a couple layouts that are probably almost the same size as what Heath has or less. And one of them, my friend Dan Dose's layout, takes 3 operators and it's a 2-hour session. And it's a prototype based layout. It's a lot of fun. He's got a grain mill district and then a downtown district where you're running in the streets and you service industries. And you each do one of those jobs and halfway through then you switch and then each can, so it's kind of fun.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm intending to do here, to have at least at least 2 operators will be comfortable, but 3 might be a little bit cramped.
Two with you being the train master would be good. You know.
Yeah.
I can run with 2. I can run with 1, but
yeah. Because the lower section here is going to be one section. Then the top layer is going to be another section itself, as well as the main line. Yeah, but I wouldn't want to talk to you either. I mean, look where you're at.
You probably look more like a real railroader than than the model routers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's judging the book by the cover. And
you never
and it's
do
true.
that.
There's a lot of there's a lot of age issues in modeling, you know. And it's not that the older guys don't want the young guys, but when you see a group of guys in their 60s or 70s or something hanging with their friends, they've known those guys for 30 years.
Yeah.
You know, like Daryl was saying, that's his group. That's his camera group. That's your motorcycle. So, and there's nothing stopping you from starting your own group. So.
Yeah, well, I've got my little friend coming around. He's going to be coming around every now and then. Young Richard is going to come around. He gets tired of running on his brother's layout. That's another story. But yeah, he's going to be coming here to give me a hand to get this one together.
Do you operate when he comes over?
Beg pardon?
Do you operate when he comes over?
Not yet.
Just run.
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
It's going to help me expand. It's going to help me with the lifting and putting things together. But he works during the weekdays. So he's pretty... he's pretty tied up during the weekday. So I do what I can, and I'm prepping everything up at the moment. Hi Nancy, how are you? Yes, I managed to stay out of trouble. Didn't get locked up on the weekend. And he's a great guy. He's a great bowler. I've known him since he was about 10 years old, and his bowling skill just progressed. He's quite knowledgeable too, and he does run a what do you call it, like a tourist train, not far from here, like a little train museum with the old cane trains from Queensland, narrow gauge. He's also a licensed steam train driver, so it gives you a bit of an idea how much his knowledge is of trains. Well, I started this because just the way the attitude with some of the members in the club, it was like careless. It was more the careless attitude when you run trains. They just put the train on the layout and walk away. Start talking, and you're going to damage other people's equipment. If you're going to run trains, you run your trains. You don't walk away and let it run. And I thought, no, sorry. And when you say something to them, they jump down your throat. I had enough, and I thought, no, I'll start my own here. And some of the people that are having the same issues at the club, they're more than welcome to come over here. Okay, Mike, take care, mate. Take care of your, clean up your mess before the CEO wakes up in the morning.
But that goes to everything that I've said, Artie, is when I host operation sessions and when my friends host operation sessions, I want decent people. I don't care how you operate. I mean, on my railroad, no one's going to care if the mythical iron ore doesn't get to the fake steel. No one cares.
Yeah.
But I want to have good people in my basement. I want to hang around, fun people, decent that'll chat. most of my sessions kind of end after about an hour and a half or 2 hours, and we sit around and talk for like this for 2 hours, and I enjoy that just as much.
Yeah, that's still fun. I mean, there's no harm in having a chit chat and having a talk and having a discussion.
Yeah,
When you've got two expensive trains running on the layout and nobody is watching them, that can be a very expensive mistake. We
yeah,
all know how much. I know the models are cheaper over there than here, but over here, I mean, it's an extremely expensive mistake.
yeah. No, it's
Expensive.
brutal here too. It's it's tough here too. So I just
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's right, Chris. If you know the best thing you can do with meet people is be quiet and listen. You hear something that perks you up, ask a question. That's how I have so many questions.
Well, that's
You
it. I
know.
mean, the most stupid question is the one that you don't ask. You know.
One
Um,
that you're afraid to ask.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the one you're
I
afraid to ask.
Yeah. I always say, well, I'm going to ask you a dumb question because I don't know. Um, if you don't ask, you don't know. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I don't care when people ask me questions. If I know the answer, I will give it to you. If I don't know the answer, I'll give it to someone that might know the answer. Sometimes my answer might be incorrect. So, if I'm not sure, I'd ask. I think you guys would have seen that on my stream on the weekend. There was a question on a couple of the engines. I wasn't too sure about the horsepower, so I had to ask my sidekick on my side to tell me what the actual information. Because you can only remember so much. Well, that's right. You have to listen as well, and because yeah, everyone operates differently. Everyone's got a different way of um, the way they want to run things. Someone melted their new SD70 on one of our layouts. He derailed and shorted, but no one was watching. He was running it, but not watching it apparently. Well, that was something that was going on here. I did, as you know, the off the rails, you have the Indian Pacific. I've done an Indian Pacific train up, and I kit bashed the baggage car and what we call the car carrier that was on the back of it. And this guy had an expensive, actually no, he had an expensive German steam engine that was coming up behind it. Wasn't looking at it, what he was doing with his, and he was going to plough right up the back of my train. There was nothing we could do. And yeah, it would have been an expensive mistake for both of us, but more for him. There was one club, one personal layout we went to in Sydney with the National Mine Railway Society, the Australian branch in Sydney, and his layout took up three sheds. They were connected together. That was a fun operation session. Yeah, well, well, my old bedroom layout, I had kids coming around next door, neighbours' kids used to play on them as well and operate them. They were great. Um, Ones that misbehaved, it was like, there's the front door, you go home. When you start behaving yourself, you can come back again. Um, you get nasty and whatnot, there's the door. When you start behaving, you can come back in. And you have your mum's permission to come around and visit and to play on the trains. She must know that you're there. Um, excuse me. Yeah.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
is
that's
more
right.
than just the phone. That's
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and that too off the rails. Yeah, there is more to life, and there's more exciting things to do than being plastered on the phone or on a computer screen. So, how many of those iron ore cars you have there, Thomas?
layout has 160 on them.
Wow. Okay, good night, John Benicki. You have a good night. We'll see you during the week. So we can blame you for the shortage of iron ore cars.
Pretty much. I bought a bunch and then I actually just sold some. So we'll see how that goes.
Was that to make more room?
Actually, had to sell some. I had too many.
Off the rails asking you, how long did it take you to gather all those ore cars?
Gather. What does that mean? Like purchase them or?
Yeah, yeah. How long did it take you to get all those, get them all?
I think I've been building this layout since probably 2010. And I've been acquiring them ever since. So I'd always find deals, or I found friends going out of the hobby, or they were modeling something else. So
Yeah, I agree, but I will let you say that, Roy. How are you, buddy? Yeah, I'm not. I'm behaving myself so it doesn't poke the stick at me. Yeah, yeah. I'm not even going to look at how many cars I've got, and that's a big variety of it. Um, yeah, I just won't have all the room to put mine up all at once. So I'm just going to rotate the rolling stock around, so there's always going to be some sort of variety. Yeah, n plus one. Yeah, being normal. Yeah, yeah. I know. Yeah, I don't think there's. But then again, I think you can have a bit too much stuff, rolling stock, and you don't. But that mindset comes to you when you run out of places where to store the stuff. Would that be about right, Thomas?
That's about right. That's about right. Too many, yes. That's what your blue tubs are for. You have to have your official blue to be a blue tub model railroader.
Well, I've got the wardrobe next to me. I've got boxes and tubs underneath. I've got empty tubs in another room, which can go underneath the main layout, but I'm not going to get them because that means I have to fill them up and find somewhere to store them. So I think, no, time out.
I think what. Yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, finish.
I was going to say, if I spend any more money on trains at the moment, my layout's never going to be looking to a finished stage. I'm not going to get it expanded. I won't expand the layout.
Yeah. Well, that's, when my layout is so focused that when I see the bright new shiny objects, new containers, an SD70 or this, I don't need them. I can't even use them if I want it on the shelf, but I'm like, so the only reason I buy another car is either for the model like an RPM meet or for a friend, paint up a split rock car. I got a bunch in the works to hand out to some of you guys actually. But I think when you put on the blinders and you model something specific, you model a specific railroad, era, place, it saves you a lot of money. It saves you a lot of decisions.
Yeah.
But then, then again, we're a hobby of collectors. We're a hobby of, I like that, I want it, and go get it. And the manufacturers know it. That's why they can make this stuff. So.
Yeah. But I can still see two Australian outgoes running nicely on your layout.
Yeah. But see, like my layout. So my layout needs 6 engines. So I can afford to put the expensive decoders, the current keepers, the LEDs, and do all that work in them because I don't need 60 engines.
Yeah.
So just by having a minimal amount, then I can invest more into each caboose and each engine and do this because that's all I'm getting. Which is another advantage of a smaller layout, too.
The only thing is I'm getting at, only things I will be getting now is just an updated version of the 44 class Alco engine. My favourite one, I'm getting an updated version of that, which had directional marker lights and it's got a different gearbox in it. The first ones that came out, the gear split in them. And it's a pain to change them and trying to get the gears that's going to last is hard to get now because it's made out of the wrong plastic. But when I have a look at the gearbox itself, the gears inside the gearbox is very, very thin. And the gears do strip itself. So I'm just going to get some updated versions of them, and but they're not cheap.
Trying to think of the ones, I think it was like the Proto 2000s always had cracked gears. You threw the Athearn ones out there. Mostly.
Yeah, because they ended up doing the same issue. It was made out of that polystyrene plastic, I was told.
Yeah.
the type of plastic that they used, and when it got to oil and whatnot, and you went to clean um, the liquid that you use to clean the wheels with, well, alcohol, whatever it was, that was actually making, because you know how they all press fit. But when you put the alcohol on it, that was what was splitting the gears. Um,
Well, drying them out. So
yeah,
Roy's saying that there are keep alives for N scale. That's interesting. That's pretty good. You know,
yeah,
I think once I finish installing the current keepers in the rest of my fleet, then I can remove my frog juicers. You know, I right now I've got all the powered frogs and the Tam Valley frog juicers, but and current keepers. You know, it's kind of like wearing a belt and suspenders, but the bad part is the frog juicers fight with the PSX circuit board because the PSX is faster. So
yeah,
if I can remove the frogs, it might get it.
right, yeah.
Okay, Roy. Roy has 100. Who can beat that? We'll turn it into a contest again.
I can,
But,
hang on.
but I saw this comment that tricked out, and I think that's cool. I think if you have a smaller layout, you can have the really super detailed engine. You know,
Well, I've actually set mine out. I'm going to have to chase him up, see how it's going, how it's progressing. I've actually sent the orange one that I had. I actually sent it over to Jason to have it tricked up for me. Remember that orange one that I was doing, Thomas? A few months back, earlier in the year, vaguely.
vaguely.
Yeah, well, I've actually sent it to Jason to trick it up and put the sandy cover in there for me. I need to follow up to see how that's going, but I will be doing some more later on after I get a continuous run on this thing here. Um, we're talking about train competition. Okay, I'll just fire up my panel pro. I can tell you what's in the roster. um, that's all Jason. I think it was your fault or Jason's fault. One of you two. Um, that decided it was a good idea to put. No, it was Jason. I'll blame Jason for it. To log everything into the roster. Well, in my roster that I have logged, and this was this time last year, I've got 170 locos in the roster. Since then, I acquired probably about another 10. So that's 110, 180 locomotives. I'll have a look at my cars, and that would have been increased. I have 772 carriages in the roster, but I think I've got about another 40 extra cars on top of that. So that gives you an idea of what I have. And I don't have the room. I don't have the room to run it.
I think Tony makes a point here too. When you even just focus on an era, you're like he's saying he's going by. You know, he says, well, anything that has a roof walk is too old. You know, so that cuts down on your purchases and things like that. And Daryl has good taste. He's got all those beautiful scale trains engines. If only they made Elcos. Yeah, they make some quality stuff. That's quite the company.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I've pretty much got what I wanted, but I've also been thinking about now, do I get rid of some of it? And just stick to the one side of it. But I mean, I've got both Australian and American. I might like have the flavour for running Australian stuff, and it just sticks to one area. One good thing about the area that I do, the colour schemes and everything else lasted for nearly 35, 40 years in the one colour scheme. So I was able to get away with it.
Well, are you still modeling the seaboard coastline for American,
Yes.
or did you change?
No, I still got them. And that's a
So that's
seaboard that,
yeah.
you know, when you got
Are you modeling the merger?
yeah, when you had seaboard, you had Atlantic coastline merged together, you know, to create the seaboard. So I've got a good mixture there. So that actually increases on what you have. I didn't have a big layout.
But it also sets a timeline.
Yeah.
You know that it ended in 1983.
Yeah.
You know, so it was from 1967 to 83. So if you're going to model seaboard, you're still in that, you know, pre-wide cab era. You know,
Yeah.
you can have the 40-2s, but you can't have the SD50s or 60s.
Yeah. But then I got the Chesney system and CSX merger when that became about as well. So I can mix my locomotives together. It doesn't have to be a specific type. And I used to go to, and the thing was, I used to go to railway exhibitions a lot with the club. And that's where I used to display my trains and run my trains. I used to make a setup, and that's why I have so many. As you know, in the exhibition layouts, the trains are usually longer. They have a bit of motor, couple, 2, 3 engines on the front. And of course, yeah, it's good night, Bernard. Oh, off the rails, don't even go with the price of the XBT. That is ludicrous what they did there. I don't want to talk about that. That was not.
We won't get into them. We're not going to discuss the money this hobby costs. We don't want to do that.
No, but what they done with those XB2s and some of these Australian models, manufacturer, they overflowed the market, but they only made X amount, limited amount. They done limited amount for mail orders, and then X amount for off the shelf. But they didn't have enough for off the shelf, so a lot of people that wanted it missed out. But you're looking at $1,800 to $2,000 for a set. But yeah, they didn't make enough of them. I didn't get a chance.
So you model even you model the CSX and the chassis, or it's just
the CSX.
So okay, so now you're decreasing where you can get. Okay.
Yeah. It depends what tickles my fancy at the time I want to run.
No, that's true. I totally understand that. That's what model railroading is. It's like, hey, I want to see a chassis system gold train. I want to see a seaboard piggyback train. You know, I enjoy that as much as everybody else. It's kind of fun at the train shows to see guys run a train. I do like to see what I call appropriate trains. You know, and I know they do this at the train shows where I can enjoy you having a big boy, but when it's pulling a double stack train, I'm kind of, I'd much rather see the big boy have a long string of PFE reefers.
Oh yeah.
Or the GE wide cabs and the double stack. I enjoy when people try, like you CSX, Jeep 40s on a coal train. the old steel-sided cars before the aluminum car. I enjoy that. I enjoy that the people put the effort into that. You know,
Oh yeah,
that they're making
oh yeah,
a specific train.
yeah, and
Indeed.
that's what I like, and that's what I like to do. And you see, with young Richard, my era overlaps to pretty much where he goes. He goes in what we call the candy era, when you're going into a reddy orangey candy red is where, excuse me, when our train used to started getting a new paint scheme, get away from the Tuscan and the Indian red. They went to a candy red with stripes on it. But the rolling stock and the engines, we can still mix and match. So with him bringing his rolling stock here, we can mix and match it together. Because they didn't go out and sit out of the service till 89, 91, I think. About 91, they went out of the system, out of service. So we can run our stuff together. We can have a good operation. And he does model the same area as I do, and which is the South Coast line from Sydney down to Nowra on along our line. So we can share
No,
our,
you know,
we can pretty much share
but
our rolling
I
stock.
like that. You're combining someone who has the same type of interest and era. It's like, hey, I brought my Norfolk and Western engines. Can I couple them to your coal train? Sure. Away you go. At the Fremo Club or
Yeah,
something. I don't have any problems. It's like,
yeah,
hey, I've got you know Amtrak P42s. Can I replace your F40s? Yeah, that's on a good looking train like that. So
yeah, exactly.
yeah. Hey Dwight. Yeah, that steam engine was making racket outside my house all weekend. They were running steam
That wasn't mine.
excursions this week.
Oh, right, okay. Well, the train that we went on Sunday, our time, after that main live stream, apparently she derailed the day before. Tracks fell apart on it, and they got it going again. So um, she's actually quite a decent. I'll tell you what, that engine's seen a lot of, had a hard life, but she's still going. Um, Yeah, but but when we have the big boy running with a consist of container cars, we know what's going on there, don't we, Thomas? It's
Oh no, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
it's stirring people
It's
up.
it's a, right. No, no, it's a train show train. I see lots of times. Masabi, Yellowstone's, Pulver, and I get it. It's a train show. You want to see trains go around. It's not an either or. I'm not saying I dislike it. I'm just saying I appreciate when I see at a club layout where somebody put the effort in to make, you know, the Santa
Yeah,
Fe blue F units and all the reefers coming out of California, or the Great Northern cars, with all 40-foot box cars and smaller things of that era, like FTs and F units. That's impressive to me. I like everything, but my eye is attracted to someone who goes, I want to make a correct Spokane, Portland, and Seattle train. I want to make a correct New York Central passenger train. Rock Island. That. That, and it doesn't even have to be prototype. But if like my layout, if you had Elcos, so they were built as in the '60s. You know, you would see them on an appropriate train with appropriate freight cars.
yeah,
They don't use them to
yeah.
haul stacks. you know.
See, with the Lego Club that I was a member of here, um, usually on the October long weekend we have the Sydney branches of the Australian Model Railway Association. They have a big 3-day train show up in Sydney, We take our layout, the waterfall layout.
Hey guys.
There. G'day, Daryl. How are you?
There's the riff. The riff-raff is here.
Yeah, that would be me. You know, you asked me a question. Here it is. Let me get it. Here, hold on. There's your SD42.
Killed him. Yep, there he is.
Okay. How well do they run?
Well, I didn't know how well they run until until I pulled it out for Wilmer. Wilmer won one of the two, and I didn't realize how beautiful that locomotive was until I until I pulled it out. So yeah, I have two of them. So one I gave away in a drawing, and I have the other one which is going to AJ Weathering.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Wilmer absolutely loves it. Absolutely loves it. It's a beautiful locomotive, and I'm kind of wishing now I didn't give them away, but
Well, you can buy them off eBay now for three times what you paid for those ones.
oh really?
Yeah.
Yeah. But AJ, I'm trading AJ for weathering of cars. So that's what the other one's going for,
Okay.
because I don't have the other one. So, you know, it's just easier for me just to let it go, because they've sat in the box for, gosh, a year or so. And like I said, I own all types. I mean, you know, and I love them all, but the scale trains by far are the best performing locomotives.
Okay, that was my question. That's what I wanted.
Oh, hands down. Hands down. I mean, you see my trains in my live streams, and they run about a half an hour. Yeah, a half an hour before I start my stream, just to make sure they're running correctly. And they'll run for 3 or 4 hours non-stop.
Nice.
So now I love Athearn Genesis. Love them. They're good locomotives. The only problem is they don't run for 3 or 4 hours. Same thing with my Intermountains. One of them will give up. It'll just stop.
Wow.
Yeah. So hands down, scale trains. I mean, if you want to let them run, scale trains is the absolute best. But like I said, I was really just surprised to see Intermountain do the same thing as Athearn Genesis. One of them just usually stops. So
bizarre. Yeah. That's kind of good. But yeah, I guess I've heard things about those scale trains.
Yeah. And on top of it, they're an all-around beautiful locomotive. I get that they're expensive. Now I'm going to tell you all, the next one down for economic, for price range, they go for like about 150. They are the those are the well, here, let me grab one.
Okay, while he's grabbing off, I'm going to have to sign off. I've just looked at the time. I've got to go to physiotherapy on my shoulder. So,
well, thank you, Artie, for joining.
I'll see you next week. We're on the weekend.
We'll see you Saturday. Thank you, Artie.
All right.
Yeah, I'm pulling everything. Good night, Artie.
Good night.
So this one right here, these are the Athearns Ready to Roll series. Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the Economy one. And I absolutely love these. They run just beautiful. So for people who can't afford, you know, I mean, nice locomotives, I highly recommend the Athearns Ready to Roll. So there you go.
So okay, so they're ready to roll. And you said those scale trains have really good motors in them. Okay.
Yeah, let me since you made me big, they're They're absolutely beautiful. I mean, you can't beat the price, $150 for these.
No,
They're
no,
DCC and ready to go.
yeah, no. I think that's a beautiful That's a modern dash too. You know, that's kind of like the ones I run in the yard. Probably that same number. So yeah,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. That's perfect for your layout. You know,
Well,
moving
yeah,
stuff
because
around.
mine's all modern, all modern. But I
Right,
do,
right. Yep.
right, exactly. I do run steam locomotives, and one of them are, well, two of them are Bachmann, the other two are BLIs. Now, I have a love for BLI, but sometimes I have problems with them, and it seems like I always have to take them to the local shop here in South Pasadena and get them looked at, because maybe it's just a luck of the draw with me.
No, no. It's a Broadway. That's every last person who owns a Broadway has that issue.
Yeah, and it
Every.
kind of seems like that. Now, when I open up my garage door during fall time or when it's cooler out and I get my garage clean, I put, serious tools away, lock them up. I will bring out the Ather and Genesis, and I'll take away most of the cars off the layout, and I'll let the kids have fun and run the trains, and I let them run the Atherans. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
I mean, the rolling stock. And you know what is? None of my switches are electronically thrown or anything like that. So they can take their fingers, they can take the switches, and that's their way of operation. And it was nice to really hear a lot of the comments and see a lot of the comments earlier in the discussion, because the kids, their eyes get really big when you put the cab throttle in their hand, and all the time they want to run them fast. That's what I'm there for. They want to run them super fast, so that's what I'm there for. So
Yeah.
I'll put the locomotives that are either busted, broken, or got something missing on them, because I know what's going to happen. They're going to flip a
Yep.
switch and it's going to roll right off. So yeah, it is what it is.
Yours
You
are
know,
yours are DC or DCC.
no, my layout's all DCC.
Okay.
I'll never forget the first day that I saw a DCC locomotive. They weren't even on the market yet. Weren't even on the market. And I just happened to walk in and see a guy put two trains on a track, on a track, two of them, and head right into each other. And both of them, I was like, what is that? And they said, oh, this is the newest and brightest thing. They haven't come out yet, but that was it for me. Needed to have one.
Yeah.
Needed to have one.
Yeah.
So,
It's quite an eye opener the first time you see DCC.
well, yeah.
But I was just
And
wondering,
yours
like
is
the engines you run for the kids, because I've done that for my grandkids. Is I let
right.
them run the ones that I made the top speed just down. Can we make it run fast? Sure. Can it go faster? No.
Exactly.
No.
Exactly.
Spin that
No.
knob
And
all you want. That's what.
yeah, and exactly. And they're not going to hurt too much, but like I said, I make sure that I put away most of the rolling stock, because they're going to want to run everything that they can see. And they jump from one train to another train. So I have different consists of trains that they can pull out of the yard and run. So, and it's a lot of fun. And the mom and dads, they come over and they say, are you sure it's okay? And
Yeah.
the mom and dads are really, really concerned because they see the layout and they go, oh my, I don't know if my son should be doing this. You know what I'm saying? And most interesting, it's the girls who are more interested in
Right.
than the boys are, believe it or not. So
No, I agree. I like it. It's always my granddaughters have always wanted the trains.
yeah,
I have a lot more photos of them running the trains than my grandsons.
yeah,
So, of course,
exactly.
they like putting things in the ore cars that I don't know about. So,
Well,
like
yeah,
what's that noise? And all of a sudden,
Yep. No, my layout's not quite like that. They just have fun running around, and what's neat for them is they can't see it sometimes because it runs through
Yeah,
mountains, and that's what makes it interesting. It goes in, it goes out. It's just, like I said, if one falls off the layout, it's not a big deal. It really, really isn't. It's not a big deal. It's a
yeah,
beater
yeah.
DCC. You know, it's
And
like the
that's a
first boat.
great, yeah, yeah.
It's
Your
like the
first
first
boat you
boat I
ever,
ever owned. It was a beater boat. It was a dock beater. It was for experience. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So, yeah.
right. And that's how you build the core memories. And I think that's
Yeah.
what you have to acquiesce to is here. My grandson, I built him an Ingle Nook trying to teach him switching, and he's using a skewer. But the engine is just an Ather and SW7. It's not even have a shell on it. It's just the chassis. He doesn't care. He can't hurt it. I told
Right.
him these cars. I bought blue box cars. I'm like, you can't hurt them. You hurt them, I'll teach
Yeah.
you how to fix them. You'll learn a new skill.
There you
So
go. Yeah. Yeah.
that's
Well,
what you have to acquiesce to. Don't give them the stuff.
that's good, Dwight. Yeah. No, I mean it's what I see here. And I thought about the next time I'm doing this, I thought maybe I might film it, but there's a problem with that. Parents and kids and being filmed, that's not a good thing. So I won't be doing that. It was just a thought. And I did this last year. I wasn't even on YouTube last year. I just started YouTube at the beginning of January, end of December, 21, 2022. I just put out. So yeah, I already know that parents aren't going to like that. So, I would like to get that because, just the thought of the kids doing this, is just, it's awesome. It's an awesome feeling.
Yeah. Well, it's great core memories. And
Right.
like you said, it gets them
Exactly.
away from the phone. And they like the remote control. And they like not
Oh,
seeing it.
right.
And it's just when
Right.
they eventually have to learn that everything can't go fast. And
Right.
like I said, I got an Ingle Nook that folds out, and it's a puzzle. I said, here, do my puzzle for a while, And the
Oh,
cars are all different colors. I don't tell them the road name, a Great Northern. You
oh,
need the yellow one, the green one, the blue one, and that's all he has to know.
oh, that's a great idea. I like that
Yeah,
idea.
it's just yeah, and so like as he gets better at it, I add more cars, but it's just color. He doesn't care about a Great Northern or his BNSF or anything. I'm like,
Right.
it's an
Yeah,
orange,
exactly.
it's a silver tank car. Go get the silver tank.
That's a
And
great
that's
idea.
still operations. But,
Yeah. And that's what I said earlier
and
in my comment. That's operating for the kids. And, also, like I said, there's a lot of great places that I go to here in Southern California. And I know a lot of people, and that is true, what you did say. There's a lot of guys that are in the hobby who've known each other for, gosh, years, Thomas. And even with me, they're kind of like, don't touch, and that kind of spoils it for me because, but I understand it, and I do. So I just sit back and watch if one of them say, hey, Daryl, here's the cab throttle. I'm going to take the chance at it. You know what I'm saying? And I respect
right.
that.
Oh
I
no.
do.
Oh yeah.
That's why I said
Yeah.
you have to listen when you go to a club layout or someone's home because they have a specific way they like to do things. And as long as you're following the rules, you're in.
Right. Right. Yeah.
So
And that's how it goes here. It's that beats any knowledge you can tell a host about what they're doing wrong or doing something. You when you have railroad layout etiquette, you're going to get invited everywhere.
yeah.
That's the
And
hardest
I'm
thing.
that
That's the
guy.
hardest thing.
Yeah, no. And I'm that guy. I don't know everything. I don't know everything, and I don't pretend to know everything. And when the appropriate time's right, I will ask a question.
Yeah.
Not when they're shoving cars back into a very difficult spot. Oh, hey, up in their face. Oh, hey, what are you doing? Oh, hey, Well, what's that? Oh, hey, what's that stick in your hand? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And
So,
then it's like, how do you uncouple? Is it skewers? Is it the dental flossers? Is it
right.
magnets? Is it?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And it's all fun and games. I mean, it's a big learning lesson. So, I've enjoyed the hobby since I was a little kid, you know. So, um, my grandpa ran HO scale trains with slot cars.
Okay.
So me being a kid, what do you think, little Pappy? That's what my grandpa used to call me, little Pappy. Okay, you cannot run the slot cars into the trains. you know, exactly, exactly. So I mean, I was taught just like anything else. You know, so it's all in good
But I think
teaching.
it is. And I think that's why this hobby has, is the greatest hobby for all that it offers. You pick what you want: bench work, electrical, the trains. Like you just said, we all say, well, I don't know everything. And there's some guys, like, we were just talking about these rabbit holes. Is like, they're curious. I'm like, what's in that boxcar? You own a shredding business. You run this shredding
Right.
business, and the place probably recycles that, or I don't know. But I know we have paper places here in the Twin Cities, and they recycle it and they bundle it up and they put it in boxcars. And here in Minneapolis,
That's right.
it goes to California.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Yeah.
how does it pay to send newsprint to California? But they do. I mean, they have like
They
6
do.
cars in this pool.
Yeah, the
But
reason why is because
yeah.
most of it, Thomas, is being sent to across the border to Mexico.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's where
See, that's a
most of it,
rabbit hole, and I want to learn.
so um
I know, do they recycle it into cardboard or something for Amazon, or
no,
you know,
actually the shredded
I don't
paper,
know.
mine gets baled, we bale it, and then we ship it off to a broker, and then the broker takes it, they send it not on rail, and then believe it or not, I've said it before, they have 2 rail spurs where, but they don't ship it in rail cars. They ship it across the border by tractor.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm seeing
But
this all
previously,
over,
whatever,
Thomas.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, this is what I'm
And I
seeing
think,
all
yeah,
over. All these,
yeah.
yeah.
But you look at that rail spur, that at one time it was efficient to do that. I
Yes.
mean, you drive around any city and you see tracks, and but that was kind of interesting because my friend Dan was modeling this line, and there was a place called Eureka, and we're like, well, what are they putting in the boxcars? And of course, we have the internet, and they recycle paper, and I'm like, okay, that's why they want these specific boxcars, and they can load 2
Exactly.
cars at a time, but
Yeah.
they load them with different, like one's newsprint and one's cardboard. But it's kind of that, like you said, we don't know everything, but I really enjoy the research of digging down into,
Right.
what's in that reefer car, where did it come from, where's it going,
Right. Well,
and
one of my rail fanning videos that I did of the consist that comes up from Orange County, Jason looked up the numbers, Jason the train freak, and he said, "Oh no, those are BYK or T or something like that." He goes, "Those are coming from Mexico. Those cars are coming from
yeah,
Mexico, a beer company." I go, "That's pretty
yeah,
interesting. I wouldn't have known that." So yeah. So it's interesting where things are coming from and where things are going. You know,
yeah,
it's just I'm
and
seeing less and less. Go ahead.
especially like, because like, if you model a layout, yours, we've seen the trains run, and I'm like, okay, you have the fun part of the layout that's like the Transcon California, the main line, and a lot of other guys model what I call the first mile or the last mile, the little switching
Right.
layouts.
Right.
And
Exactly.
but I think it's interesting for both, because you're like, okay, I'm pulling this car out of Minneapolis and it's getting on the BNSF to California. You could have the exact same car on one of your manifests. You know, if I painted up a BKTY boxcar that's going to Eureka, I could build a model and give it to you and see it going
Right.
by, you know, on your westbound out to, you know, so
Right.
and I you know, I enjoy that because even on the through trains, it's like, well, what's in that container? What's in these boxcars? So
Right.
I like the
Exactly.
research.
Yeah. And you know, my layout is just for fun. And you know, I it's not based on anything. It's just modern. Only for the certain fact because like I said, I have probably over 32 just in scale trains alone, and I have all the class 1 railroads, all of them. And like behind me, the KCs. Those are all there's 3 of them in this consist, but I just love to run different locomotives and different class 1s just because I get bored. That's the only reason.
Yeah.
I get bored.
Yeah.
I just, that's it. That's the only reason. I wish I would have just stuck with somebody said in here, Tony Ryan. He said
Yeah.
this is the reason why I do it this way because it keeps me from overspending and overbuying.
Yeah.
You know, but for me, I think I would have just got bored.
No.
So,
But you can, what you're doing though with modeling modern, you know, I look at your trains as they roll by and they're perfect. I mean, they're what I see every day because you could have a consist with a BNSF engine in the front, followed a KCS, and then a Norfolk Southern unit, you know, and then come the stacks, or then comes all the modern freight cars. Yeah. Looks like every train going over Cajon Pass. Looks like every
actually,
train, you know.
That's funny that you said that. I actually filmed one today. I filmed a stack train with 2 UPs on the front and two DPUs in the middle. One was a KCS and the other one was a UP. Never had seen that here in Southern California. I've never seen it. So I actually caught a KCS here in Southern California. That was really, really cool. Yeah.
It is cool.
I got it on film, you know, so.
Yeah.
And the only reason why I started doing Railfanning videos, for anybody who doesn't know me, my layout is in Southern California. I am in a garage. And for the last 3 months, it's been over 100 degrees plus in my garage. And, you know, it's hot. It's hot in this garage. And, you know, I just turned to Railfanning just for the time being because it's just I'm really not in my garage doing anything. I stand here and I sweat.
Yeah,
that's no fun. It's no fun at all. But I come to find out that my Railfan videos have just completely exploded. You know. Jeez.
Well, it's something new. You know, you're shooting a nice video, and people like seeing modern. And you know, like you said, it's probably even rarer. Is that a word, rare? For you to see a Canadian Pacific engine, yet they make them out there. You know.
Yeah.
I've hauled many trains. You know, my employer's the yellow one. I've hauled many trains where there was no yellow engine on any part of that train. So.
Oh wow.
You know, we got unit Coke trains that are all CSX power.
Right.
You know, we used to haul these stupid road railer trains was all NS power.
Yeah.
And we get CPB and we get KCS every day because we get the trains coming up through Kansas City going to Canada. So what you have looks normal to me.
Well, yeah, and it's exactly what I see up on what's the Railfan video or the Railfan 24-hour stream.
Oh yeah, these live webcams or something.
The webcams, yes. It comes to my mind, but that's what I see, and that's what I see here. I see more so NS with UP than I do anything else here.
Yeah.
And I've never caught a Ferromex. I can't wait to the day I can actually catch a Ferromex here. You know, it's just something you don't see. You know.
Yeah.
So
they're rare. They're rare.
But the consist that I film is very rare. You do not see locals tagged up like that. I mean, they are completely. There's one with drip on it, and I believe it's a GP. I believe it's a GP 42. I believe, and that thing is just heavily tagged. I mean, heavily tagged, and people don't see that. So, you know, yeah. So I just
But
enjoy
yeah,
the
I
hobby.
mean, yeah, enjoy the hobby. I think you showed me those SD40-2s. That's that's Southern California all the way here to St. Paul. That's transfer power. That's yard power. You'd see those dragging double stacks from one port over to the next, or they'd be dragging freight, from the yard in LA to the smaller yards in Glendale or something out there. And
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
See,
I like it.
Roy,
I like watching your trains go by. It's kind of neat.
yeah. Now, are you still an engineer,
I am.
Thomas? You
I'm still
still
an
are an
engineer,
engineer.
but I'm now doing the safety work. I have a full time job as like a total safety culture facilitator. So I don't get on the trains anymore. I'll go up there and observe crews, but I don't have a throttle anymore. I'm
Oh,
still
okay.
qualified. So
I
yeah,
see.
I took a pseudo office job, but I'm out in the field all the time. So
Now,
and
Randall Ellison, we all
still
know
still
Randall.
wear boots.
Yeah, right.
He's
And
just
Randall
from okay,
Ellison, he,
yeah, San Diego.
yeah, no, I saw Roy's, yeah, down here in San Diego. Yeah,
But that's going
and
to be on the
Roy,
BNS.
yeah, and the interesting thing is I'm right near the Colton Yard. I don't know if you're familiar, Thomas, with the Colton Yard. The Colton Yard's a
Yeah,
really big yard here in Southern California, and it's a very big. Yeah, it's very big. It's very long, and I could spend a whole day filming there. But it's called
yeah,
time. I run a full time
right. Oh
business,
no, yeah.
and I just can't do that. My channel's
Have
more
have
geared
you
towards model railroading, not rail fanning, but I've come to find out that, like I said, I'm doing okay with that. So that's fine. So
have you been up to the Loop to Railfan?
I remember many, many years ago that I did, and that is just an awesome place to go and visit. I would like to stay overnight and do a couple days of just catching trains going around that loop. That is quite awesome. Now the Cajon
Yeah,
Pass here, where I live, and Roy Eltham knows what I'm talking about. The Cajon Pass is a very heavily traveled, um, um, kind of steep incline for BNSF and UP. And gosh, there's a lot of rail fan guys that just stack up videos of trains going up and trains coming down the Cajon Pass. So, you
I
know,
always liked when I would go to California. I never did Cajon because I always liked Tehachapi, but I
okay,
was out there when it was SP in Santa Fe.
okay,
The old. So it was just awesome, and I always stayed. There's a hotel in Mojave that's right along. I think it's Route 5, and they had a little pool. So I'd always ask for an upstairs room facing the tracks, and the guy's like, "Why do you want the noisy room?" Because get checked in the evening, just sit there out on, they got like a little deck and sit there, watch beer, watch all the trains go by in Mojave. But
right.
I like Tehachapi because it's like an ancient route where climbs that north face of that mountain, and you can follow along and just get beautiful shots of the same train in 3 different places and stuff. So,
Well,
but
I watch a
I like
couple
to
of
see Cajon.
yeah, I watch a couple of guys who do. One is jumping off a cliff. I think it is. He does. He's an older gentleman, and he rides the trains through Southern California, up in the Mary's Pass and all that. And he rides it all the way across the United States. And I like watching some of those guys who actually get on trains and hop them.
Yeah.
I know that's not good to hear with you, but what you don't know is not going to hurt you. You know what I'm saying?
No, well, we know it anyway.
Oh,
I
you
just,
do.
well, I mean, people hop our trains. We just want to be safe.
Well, yeah. So,
Our trains are tougher because they try and hop them in the winter, and the cars
okay.
are covered with ice. That
Well,
doesn't end well.
yeah. Nor in Needles, California.
Yeah.
at 100 at
Needles.
120 degrees, sitting over there by the Colorado River to pass. I mean, it's hot there. I know it's hot, and I don't know how. I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Since you're a railroad guy, it's just off the top of my head. Now, we all know hopping trains and doing that is illegal. Am I not correct?
Correct.
So how do guys get away by doing that and posting them on video? I mean, they're
Apathy.
incriminating. Yeah, I mean, they're
Apathy.
incriminating. I mean, they're incriminating themselves. I love watching them. I
Right.
subscribe to a lot of them, but I was kind of wondering how they can actually do that and film it and put it up on TV. You kind of understand what I'm
So,
saying?
oh no, exactly, and I can answer that. It's apathy, manpower, and money.
Okay.
Where I work, we've never had double stacks. They're finally building one. So we've had one railroad policeman for the entire state of Minnesota, Wisconsin, South Dakota, and Iowa. One guy, but there's probably 100 down in Chicago where the double stack terminals are. Same with Los Angeles.
Oh, okay.
Because they're riding a car full of plastic pellets. They're not breaking into it.
Right.
Second of all, the railroads are so accessible. We don't have fences along 23,000 miles of track.
Right.
And then
exactly.
Third, the railroad's not going to pay somebody to look at YouTube and watch these guys because it's dangerous to them. Now, I know the FAA goes after the guys who do the drone videos. They've busted and hauled in a lot of those guys by saying, we watched your video and this is where you were flying, because they're near airports, and things like that. So
yeah, because there's a lot of guys who do fly drones over trains and over things. So you're saying they go after those guys?
Yeah, the FAA goes after the drone guys who fly near airports. They don't care about trains, but nowadays that's what stopped me from getting a drone, because where I live, I brought up a map of the no-fly zone. I'd have to drive almost 200 miles to fly a drone.
Well,
because there's so many little airports around here.
If I look like the kind of guy that would, that's why I don't have a drone.
Right. Yeah.
I would be flying.
I would love a drone.
Yeah, I would be flying it where it shouldn't be flown.
Right.
That's why I don't own one.
So they have people to monitor that, because that's life and death with airline passengers.
Oh, absolutely, hands down. I agree.
But
now if they can only keep birds from being sucked in jet airliners. Jeez.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah.
What we do on the train, if we see someone along the tracks, we'll call the dispatcher and give a milepost and a description and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
Nothing usually gets done. So we don't have anybody, and I don't think any railroad wants to pay someone, listen, it was you or some other railroad, to watch these videos and then track down this person.
Right, exactly. Right, exactly. Yeah, so, and that was my question to you. And like I said, I subscribe to a lot of those guys who do those hopping on trains. I enjoy, because really a lot of us will never, ever see the kind of scenery that they are filming from a train. We'll never see that. We'll never see that scenery.
No, you guys don't get to see the things. It's quite amazing from the cab of an engine. And I'm like, the views on the river. And we come down this hill into St. Paul, Minnesota, which is the capital. Yeah. And the C&W was one of the early roads. So we crest this hill out on the eastern suburbs, and you're lined up perfectly with the state capitol. We're the only ones that can. We're the ones that can see that. And you're coming down and you're just curving through. It's just rivers, bridges, So no, I agree. I watch them too. I don't wish them ill will. There's a couple of guys I like.
Yeah.
That I'm like, oh, okay. He hopped from Bakersfield to Mojave.
Exactly.
little train ride.
Exactly. And like I said, if I could, I would. Absolutely, because they make it look exciting, fun, and adventurous. But there also is a lot of danger to it. But what I enjoy is the scenery. I'll never, ever,
Right.
ever see that kind of scenery.
Wake me up at
Never,
6.
never see that kind of scenery.
Yeah.
So that's the reason why I, love watching those videos, and it's a lot of fun.
Wake me up at 6.
6. Yeah, there's no passenger train over the loop.
Right.
And
Exactly.
and there's maybe one or two passenger trains over Cajon, and they might go at night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, my bucket list would be the it's off the tip of my tongue. The one that runs up through British Columbia, the Mountaineer. That would be a train ride.
Yeah.
That would be definitely a train ride. So
Mine was the old Canadian when they ran on the CP line with the dome cars. Because if you haven't ridden in a dome car, that's the creme de la creme, because you get all the view. That's like being the engineer.
right.
And the Canadian Pacific route was so beautiful compared to the CN route, because it was so.
Yeah. Yeah.
But 2 hours in, Daryl, I think I'm going to call her quits, my friend.
Yeah, I hear you.
You
I thought I
guys
would
are
come
just
on. I thought I would come up since you asked a kind of a cool question there, and I actually had one on hand, so I was glad to
Nice.
bring it up and show it. Okay, everybody. Good night, Thomas. Thank you for having me, and we'll see
you.
you. We'll see you soon.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody.